Thanks to a helpful commenter, I've got the wheel working with Assetto Corsa Competizione. All I had to do was restart the game with the wheel already in compatibility mode. Basically, I could not change the wheel to compatibility mode when the game was already started. But anyway, it's resolved now. However, I cannot turn off road effects. It's at 0, but they're still on, and it's kind of basically choppy everywhere. I don't know if it's the compatibility mode that's causing it, but or some other problem, but it's basically just choppy on the straights, choppy on the turns, and it feels really bad. The loading feels good, but the choppiness feels bad. So these are the force feedback settings that I've chosen for this game. Definitely not clipping. I have the wheel set to, it was set to 90%, but it's now at 98% maximum force. Yeah, it's even in Eau Rouge going up the hill, it's definitely not clipping. But it gets pretty heavy, but it's not clipping. And these are the settings that I chose for this game, but they go in conjunction with the settings that I've already showed in a previous video. There's some slight changes, but you can adjust it for yourself if you have this wheel to suit your preference, but they're very close to what I had in that previous video. And I'm using the same setting across Assetto Corsa, a Gran Turismo, and a WRC 10. Okay, now what am I trying to do? The car setup, which it's not a car setup video, I'm just talking about the force feedback. But these are the settings that I got back when I first started playing. There's a couple of videos I posted a while ago played with the G29. These are the settings that I got with the Ferrari David Perel livery, Ferrari 488. If you don't know David Perel, you should look him up. He's a really cool YouTuber who actually drove this real-life car. Anyway, tires and caster. Caster is very important. That in the game, I don't know exactly how it's simulated, but it effectively adjusts the force range. I have it at 5.5, which is a realistic caster number, but the range is just a force range number. Essentially, by adjusting the caster, it increases the maximum force of loading in the steering wheel. And tire pressures are just the lowest it'll run from the pits, and without being too low. And then electronics, TCU2, ABS1, ECU map 1. I think that's the most aggressive. I actually don't know. Does it say on the chart there? No, it doesn't. I'd have to try out the ECU maps. TCU2, I don't even remember what that does. I think it's different speeds or something. Anyway, it's been a while since I played the game. These are my old settings from previously that I mentioned before. So I don't know if there's been physics changes since then that I may need to adapt the new setup to. So this is just preliminary for now. And what is that? Pit stop strategy, fuel, mechanical grip. It's tuned to understeer because previously in this game it was very difficult to catch the slides. So the anti-roll bar and everything and the springs are all tuned to make the car slide better. And a really stiff anti-roll bar in the front makes the front end push more, which makes it easier to catch slides. And rear anti-roll bar is set to 1. Differential preload is the only differential settings. I guess it's at 300 Newton meters. I don't even know how that relates to performance. But like I said, these are old settings. I guess that's for mid-corner. Mid-corner performance. Dampers, really stiff. This is how I usually like dampers. I'm assuming because these are set to maximum damper that even in this game, maximum damper is still too soft. It might be unrealistic for a real car to run these damper settings, but it's a video game, You can run any settings you want, and the stiffer the damper, the more controllable the slides are. And I've tuned the fast bump and fast rebound dampers for the bumps. So the regular bump is considered slow bump, which is the tire loading weight transfer, and then the fast bump is obviously the bumps in the road. And then the aero, this is very important. Again, these are old settings. I don't know how much oversteer I can tune into the car, but I have this tuned for aerodynamic understeer. And the only way to do that is by raising the front ride height. And I noticed the only way to achieve the aerodynamic understeer that I want, I need a maximum ride height. And so I can't put any rake in the car because I don't want the rear to be lower than the front. So they're both maxed out. Splitter, that might allow me to do something. Let me see, does it tell me? It doesn't say anything. So I might be able to adjust the splitter. I'm assuming a higher number. Oh, it doesn't do anything. I'm pressing all kinds of buttons. And front splitter is 0 no matter what. Brake ducts, I think those are default set to 4, so it's not doing anything. Okay, splitter can't do anything with that. So yeah, maximum ride height for the aero balance that I need to drive the car comfortably. Again, these are old settings, so if there's any new setup, or not setup, but physics updates, these do not account for those updates. And back. I'm sure not to load anything. And continue. Here's a drive. I'm just going to drive real slow, or not real slow, but not at maximum. I'm not used to the physics yet, and the steering is kind of choppy, like I said before. I've been sitting there for a while, so the tires are actually colder than they're supposed to be, I think. Unless they're tire warmers, I don't know. It doesn't say the tires are cold, so it should be fine. Usually the pit crew will say something if the tires are cold. I've already done some practice laps, so I know the brake zones kind of. Taking it easy on throttle. I don't really know how much throttle input I can give the car. Looks like I can give it more throttle. Brake early here. It's going to be taken in first or second. I prefer second. Might be better in first though, and then shift early out of the apex. Or out of the exit of that hairpin. I forgot what it's called. I don't know the corner names except for Eau Rouge and the Source. I might be late on the brakes. I don't know. I'm afraid to push the car. Should be easy to slide from what I remember playing with the G29 quite a while ago. Oh, too much throttle. It's not unstable on the brakes mid-corner. It's actually understeers. That was a bad apex. Completely missed it altogether. With the lift here, because it understeers and the tires are cold. Just a slight lift, and then back on throttle. Braking at this line is a safe bet. It's a little early. Oh, I still missed the apex. I came off the brakes too early. So, the traction control is very useful in that slow speed corner. Very choppy. Force feedback. I'm assuming that's the road effect, which I don't like. I'd rather have, I mean, I don't have a, what do you call it, a vibration chair, whatever you call it, or a G chair, I don't know, the ones that simulates all the bumps. I'd rather have a chair that simulates the bumps and having no bumps simulated in the wheel. But I can't turn off the bumps in this game. Driving very gingerly. Let's see if I can push the next couple laps. Understeer. Brake somewhere there. Want to coast through the apex and then get on throttle out. Understeering. Got good traction. Probably too much understeer. See if I can hit this apex. Too much curb. Need to drive with more dexterity. Try to avoid just riding way up on the curbs. Slight lift. Back on throttle, yep. Maybe even full throttle, I don't know. Might have to lift just to get it to rotate on apex. Nice slow speed slides. Car control went up. So I noticed with an understeer settings on the car control value up in the top right doesn't go much higher than 78 or something. But whoa, okay. I was putting very little steering input through there because it snapped. All I was trying to do is hold the steering wheel straight over the curbs. Okay, well anyway, the car control setting, the car control value in the top right, CC, is at 75 right now. Doesn't go much over 78 with an understeery car. And as you tune in more aerodynamic oversteer, wrong gear. As you tune in more aerodynamic oversteer into the car, that value is capable of going higher. But if you spin out with an oversteery car, that value will go back down because it's measuring car control, and spinning out is not control. So anyway, that's just a feature of the game. Interesting. Which is why I'm interested in this game in the first place, because it has more strict requirements for competition in online racing. So I wouldn't do online racing in Gran Turismo Sport, mostly because it's the cost in cars, but also the competition requires contact, and a lot of it. Like, people don't race gentlemanly. It's more like, you know, fight for the position you got till you die kind of thing, or everybody crashes. So anyway, in the ACC, it's more gentlemanly because the requirements, what am I trying to say, I guess requirements are more stringent? Is that the right word? Or more rigid. Anyway, you have to drive cleaner. That's what I'm trying to say in simple terms. You have to drive cleaner to be able to compete in online racing. And I said, of course, I missed the apex there. I don't know how active I'm going to be as far as daily racing, but probably occasionally on the weekends. Yeah, one more lap. Big lifts, back on throttle, over the curb. That's a decent line, probably took too much curb. Yeah, the steering wheel gets nice and heavy over through that compression and crest, a high-speed turn, so late on the brakes. I don't even know what tires I'm using. Car is starting to rotate a little bit better now that the tires are warm. A little underdriven in that corner. I turned in too early, so I couldn't scrub the tires. Whoa. There's a better exit out of this turn. Actually got the second apex. Brake under the gantry. A little sloppy on throttle. Brake early here so I can hit the apex. Multiple steers into the corner. Don't know how fast I can take that turn yet. Let's see if I can make the apex here this time. Yeah. Just after that line in the road. Okay. Fastest lap. Wasn't very clean, but it was the fastest I've got. And that's that. Till the next one.